Well, back in 2020, we bought a new family member home to live in the garage. It was the MGZSEV first generation. And today, this is video 2 of a 3-part video series looking at how the ZSEV has held up of 3 years ownership with a young family. So stay with us. This video is brought to you by Regen EV Charging Install, Australia's residential and commercial EVSE installation specialists, and Oz DIY Electric Vehicles, the car conversion experts. Links to these sponsors are in the show notes. Well, welcome to Electric Car Australia, the genuine Aussie EV channel for the real world. Hi, my name's Greg, and before we get into video 2, looking at the interior, let's have a recap of the actual vehicle from video 1 that we're talking about today. Just a reminder of what this car is. So it's, as I said, the first generation. Now, we picked this car up here in Brisbane in November 2020. We ordered it in July 2020, so there was a bit of a wait. But what I'd like to remind everyone is this car is actually a 2017 model. So it was released overseas back in 2017. So it's pretty old tech these days. So as you're watching these 3 videos, just keep that in mind. Got about 38,000 kilometres on it now. So that's not a lot of kilometres, but we've got 38,000 on it. So that gives us a pretty good idea. Now on pricing, we paid 44,000 drive away for this car when we bought it. Now these cars are bringing around 35,000 low kilometre good condition ones, so that gives you a bit of an idea if you're in the used market. So the current models of this car, so if you buy the 2nd generation of this car, these will set you back about 45,000 drive away, up to about 52,000 for the top of the range large battery. Now they're not direct comparisons to this car, and we'll talk about some of the differences that this first model or first generation had compared to the new ones. Well, that's it. This is the vehicle and this is the real world ownership experience. So I'll be talking about what we like, what we don't like, what's broken, what hasn't broken, etc. So first up, we'll have a look at the interior look and feel. So look, here it is. It is nothing special, unremarkable, and that's what some people like, and I guess was one of the attractions for me. I didn't want a spaceship looking EV, I just wanted something that looked like a normal vehicle, and that's what this one does. And if you've got a little bit of background noise there, that's the AC running because we're in subtropical Brisbane here and it's a little bit muggy, so sitting inside here I've got the aircon running, which by the way we've had absolutely no trouble with the HVAC system, so air conditioning and heating has been working really well. So let's just have a look at the buttons and switches. So look, as I said, pretty standard here. There's nothing earth-shattering. There's not a lot of functionality on the screen. We've got good buttons, etc. on the steering wheel. And look, no problems with any of this. Indicator stalks all working well. Just note that the ZS does have the European indicator stalks, so your headlights etc. are on the left hand side and your wipers etc. are on the right hand side, but no problems with any of this stuff. Air vents are all working well, none of this switch gear here, no problems. Dash is a nice hard wearing sort of vinyl. You'll see that we put an aftermarket protection on that to just keep it nice and neat. No problems with mirrors. All this sort of stuff is working really well, no issues, nothing's come loose. There's no squeaks or rattles or any of that sort of stuff, which is great. No problems with the glove box, etc. So pretty much all this is working as it should be. Now you'll notice there's a lot of hard sort of plasticky features. Look, this is a budget car, and as I mentioned, this is a 2017 one as well, basically make or design model. So we've found this really good with the kids. Hard wearing, there's no marks. This is a little bit of soft vinyl, but the rest of this is hard wearing. speakers down there, lots of space in there, all that's hard plastic, so yeah, really can't damage it. So the general look and feel of the car, the visibility is really good. The glass is actually the worst thing of this car. It's really poor glass. There's no UV protection in it whatsoever, so if you buy one of these secondhand and it doesn't have tinting, that's the first thing I'd recommend you do. It was the first thing we done. In 1 week after we bought it, we got a high quality tint put on it, and I also got some little visors, external visors, and I mentioned those in video number 1. Unfortunately I've lost this one, but that does make a huge difference because it just brings it down an inch or so, stops that glare coming in, and it obviously also stops rain. So yeah, glass is a real problem in these cars. The seats are the other thing I'll mention. Look, the driving position is really good. They've got electronic or electric adjustable seats, up, down, forward, back. There's no lumbar support adjustment. However, the seats are quite hard. It's a hard, cheaper quality foam, obviously. And on long trips, you do tend to get a little bit of back pain. So you will need to play around with the seats and get them in the right spot. Having said that, the good thing is the headrest is adjustable. In cars like the Atto 3, you can't actually adjust the headrest, and that is annoying. My wife particularly, she says that she just gets neck pain all the time in the Attos, so be aware of that. Seats aren't the best. Look, they're perfectly fine for around town, but once you're getting those long road trips, we've taken this car down from Brisbane to Sydney and return, those trips you do need to stop and stretch a little bit more, which is fine because you need to stop and charge anyway, but be aware the seats aren't fantastic. So I've got my notes here to make sure I don't forget anything, and just going back to the screen, these screens are pretty ordinary, and so's the software in these cars. Look, it does the job, but again, keep in the back of your mind, this is 2017 technology. So now in 2023, if you're comparing this against a new car, which we'll be doing in video number 3, we'll do an overall wrap up and say, would we buy this car again or not? The top 5 things we like about it, the top 5 things we hate about it. So that'll be coming in video number 3. But yeah, the screen and the software is glitchy. So the screen is slow to respond, as you'd imagine for something back in 2017, and the software can be glitchy. I would say 95% of the time it's okay, 98%, but occasionally you'll need to do a full shutdown and reboot of the infotainment system, which is really frustrating. It certainly wouldn't be acceptable in a new car now, but as I said, back then, 3 years ago when we bought it, it was sort of okay. Now you wouldn't compare it against a new car. But that's just the infotainment system. Connectivity in general, it's got 2 USB-A's in the front and 1 in the back. Obviously no problems with them, but it's not a connected car. So this car doesn't have a SIM card or anything in it, so it's not connected to the cloud or the internet. So the only connectivity is the built-in navigation system, which is obviously satellite, it's not internet. So again, pretty much what you'd expect from a 2017 sort of spec car. I mentioned in video 1 the sunroof, so we've been really happy with that. It's got a nice fabric screen here. The screen does a really good job of blocking out the heat and the UV. It provides that little bit of extra headspace, which I didn't think of when we bought the car, but yeah, really happy with that. There's been no problems with any of that. One of the other things besides the glass that is really poor in these cars is interior lighting. Here you've got 2 little incandescent bulbs. They were worse than a candle, so I popped the cover out and I put in 2 LEDs in there, the largest ones that I could fit. And if I ever get around to doing a video, I've took some screenshots or some shots of that, but they're only very small bulbs, so I'd recommend that you replace those with LEDs, but you get a little bit better light, but they are only small bulbs. When we jump in the back, I'll show you what I've done in the back seat, because it was near impossible with young kids of a night. There's absolutely no light in the back of this car whatsoever, so I've actually put some lights in the back, which if you're DIY focused, you can do with a little bit of mucking around, but if you're not, just be aware that there's no lights in the back. And I also put some lights down in the footwells, puddle lights I think they call them, so I'll show you those in a second as well. So this car now, with some modifications, has really good interior lighting, but MG let themselves down big time with the interior lighting. Okay, so let's open the door and show you those puddle lights, and I'll go out into the windy but muggy air. Okay, so let's have a look under here. So there you go, you can see those little puddle lights that I put in there. Now look, they were reasonably easy to get into. I just had to tap into the wiring in the roof where the courtesy light was, put those in. They made a huge difference to the interior lighting, and as I mentioned, I'll show you the ones in the back. We've got the genuine MG mats we bought as an aftermarket. They've held up quite well with 3 years of a lot of in and out. All this stuff's all still good, and obviously the carpet has been protected by that, but the carpet's in good condition. All this stuff is okay. Just to show you the seats, obviously we've got some covers on there, and look, I should have cleaned the car before I'd done the video, but oh well, you get that. So there's the seats underneath, so they're vinyl seats, but the stitching is all good. But like I said, they are a bit hard. There's been no tears there. I think this, now this is just me being cynical, but I think this will probably be the first thing that'll wear, that one, when you're getting in and out on the driver's side. But look, as you can see there, no problem so far. So to have a quick look around the rubbers, now I mentioned these in a really early video we done when we first bought the car. I was impressed with these rubbers. You know, they're all still good. We'll show you the back door shortly. The kids get in and out all the time. They twist and screw these things and spike them and all sorts of stuff, and the rubbers haven't broken, so happy with that. These again were an aftermarket accessory that we put on, so I'll put a link in up above to a video I've done with accessories. They have a little light in them as well that lights up, just looks cool of a night. As I mentioned, the doors, so this is all plastic, but look, yeah, that's really held up well for 3 years of ownership. Got all the obligatory hand sanitizer. Actually, here's a bonus. See those things, guys? They're a tap opener. You can buy them at Bunnings, so when you go to council parks, etc., and there's no handle on the tap, I recommend you grab one of these and keep in your car. We have a dog, or we used to have a dog, we've recently lost him, so you often just wanted to fill up the dog's water. Really handy little thing to carry, so you can access fresh water. So here we are in the back. Now I'm not going to attempt to get in there because we've got a couple of child seats and I'll do myself an injury. I don't make enough out of the videos to have a medical episode, but let's have a look. So again, here's the back door. Now the kids give these a really hard time. Look, we got stickers on there, etc. But yeah, there's nothing broken here, so all good. There's the rubber. So there's a few scuff marks there. You can see kids in and out, the sand and all sorts of stuff. But those rubbers are holding up well, so I'm really happy with that. Again, the seats in here, we've got a cover on there. No problems there. These are just some little things for the kids to put all their gear in, pencils. But look at that, look at the back of that seat there. Lots of kicking and dirty scuffed shoes. But there we go, we've got a toy under there. There you go, there's a hamburger. Lots of scuffing, but nothing's torn or broken, so that's good. To be honest, inside, the only thing that broke, there was a little rubber cover on the USB type A there. That snapped off. Not worried about that in the slightest. Yep, so all this is good. And there's the light. So that is the interior light that I put in, aftermarket. Just put it in the middle of the grab handle there. I had to carefully pull the hood lining out. Believe it or not, this is just foam. So I had to carefully pull that out, cut a neat little hole, run the wiring, put that light in, and yeah, that's hooked up to the front courtesy light. So it's got left and right hand side, so the kids can individually turn them on or off. But yeah, very poor that MG don't have proper interior lighting. So not everyone's going to be able to do that, but it's certainly made a big difference in our vehicle. So the final thing we'll do is have a look in the interior of the boot, and we'll see how that's held up with all the camping and road tripping we've been doing. So look, starting at the top, all the rubbers and seals have held up really good. The lock, there's no problems there. Gas struts, we've got a strut either side there, no leaks or any problems there. They're still nice and strong, so there's no movement. That's the back of the stoplights, so no problems there. As I mentioned, we've put tinting on the back. No problems with any of these rubbers that are protecting the wiring, etc. This is the second only thing that's broken. One of these snapped off, and you can imagine why, because this is nice and light, but we were getting some stuff out one day, it got hooked up, sort of yanked this a bit and snapped that off. As I mentioned, MG parts are cheap. Believe it or not, they didn't have any, so I just ordered some on eBay. They were like 20 cents each, and they just push in. But as you can see, these are pretty light duty, but they're okay, nothing's broken. So coming down into the boot, again, the lighting's really poor in there, so I pulled out the little incandescent bulb candle that was in there and replaced that with an LED. It's better than it was, but it's still not fantastic. What I was going to do was put a 12-volt outlet in here as well, because it doesn't have one of those. Again, it's a budget vehicle, so you can't really hold that against it, but it would have been nice to have one. I never actually got around to doing it, so I was going to put the 12-volt on this side and put another light, but never got there. Look, the carpet has held up really well. These little nets, I was a bit worried about them. You know, that you can see that there's a little bit sort of loose-ish, but we've had a lot of weight. You know, there's a fire extinguisher there, and they've held up really well. No problems. That's a little bit loose. That's where I had that out when I was putting in the light, so it didn't go back in very well. This one's fine. Aftermarket mat as well to protect the bottom board. It's good, the bottom board's in good condition. And under here, if I can get it out, is where you would put your spare wheel if you wanted one. So that foam insert comes out, you put a spare wheel in there. But look, no problems with any of that stuff. Touch wood, we haven't had to use the emergency goo for a spare wheel. All this stuff is good, nothing's come loose, nothing's broken, and again, that rubber there is in good nick, even though it gets a bit of a hard time scuffing, and the dog was jumping in and out there as well. So look, that's pretty much it for video number 3, looking at the interior of the first generation ZSEV after 3 years of ownership here in Australia. We've got one video to come, and it's going to be a general wrap-up video looking at all of our experiences. We had a breakdown, a couple of bits and pieces like that, and whether we would actually buy this car again or we'd look at something else. So like I said, that might be interesting for people that are looking at a second-hand vehicle, or even if you're thinking of a new vehicle, would you buy the new model MGZSEV? We'll look at our top 5 things we like about this car, the top 5 things we don't like about the car, and also some things that don't necessarily directly apply to this car, or I should say they apply to this car, but they would also apply to other second-hand EVs. So if you're in the market for a second-hand EV over the next little while, there's also some things that'll be coming in that third video that you might find useful, that you could keep in mind when you are shopping for your vehicle. Well, as always, thanks very much to our financial supporters, our Patreon and Ko-fi supporters. Really appreciate your ongoing support. That's what keeps me in the game with this. Also, our new channel sponsors, if you're in the market for any of the products or services they provide, please visit their links. They're in the show notes, and reach out to those guys. As I said, I validate these guys. I've used the services and products of these companies and fully recommend them. Thanks very much for watching. Stay safe, look after your friends and family, and we'll talk soon. Cheers.